Well, we are so happy that you're here with WCAC TV here in Jesup, Wayne County, Georgia. And we cover Claxton and Metter, as I was telling you a few minutes ago. And I was just so tickled when I started getting all of these emails that they wanted to do, um, some recordings, pre-recording. So this is pre-recorded, it's not live. And so that we could talk to you and find out. I'm going to do one tonight with you, and then one Wednesday night. I can't remember who that one's with. I'll have to look at my emails. But I'm so excited that you're here with us. And please tell everybody your name.
Well, my name is Dexter Newby. I live in Hinesville, Georgia. Originally from Kentucky. Retired military, 20 years. Work as a substance abuse counselor for Pineland and the Wayne County Drug Court System. I have 2 sons, and I have 4 beautiful grandchildren.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, with the latest one being born the day after Father's Day. Yes.
What a wonderful Father's Day gift. I tell you, there's nothing like grandchildren.
Oh,
I
yes.
love my
yes.
children. Don't you get me wrong. I love my children. But the wonderful thing about grandchildren is all grandparents know is that you love on them and spoil them and hand them back to the parents. Let them deal with it after that. Get them all sugared up and then send them back home with them. But now, Pineland, you were saying that you were a mechanic with this while you were in the service.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And please tell me how you transitioned from being a mechanic into working with substance abuse.
Well, first, I want to say thank you for having me
Oh,
here.
honey, I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Well, I joined the military when I was 17 years old.
Wow.
And I was in there for 20 years, like I said previously. And when I started the transition of, wanting to retire, the last couple of years, I decided to focus more on my education. I was already taking classes while I was in the military.
Oh, okay.
I started early, but I started looking at different majors, and at first I wanted to go to human resource. For some reason, I don't know why, it just sounded...
Who knows? What are you studying? I'm studying human resource.
So then God put it on my heart. I saw human services. I was like, well, that's what I wanted to do. That's what I want to do. And so I started wanting to get into social work. Then things started going slow, and I ended up getting out of the military, retiring. I started working for a contractor, still working with vehicles.
Okay.
And I say that God just pushed me this way,
right?
Because for the events that happened, everything led up to me being here right now. I got laid off from my job, and I came over to Pineland and spoke with the manager that was at the counseling center, the Wayne Counseling Center. And she told me, she linked me up with Miss Connie Moore. And so I went up to Statesboro. I said, hey, I don't know if I have what I'm supposed to have, but this is what I want to do. And I ended up coming here to Jesup, Wayne County, Georgia, and working in substance abuse.
Now, being in the military for as long as you were, I know that because of friends that I have had, there's a lot of problems with military men and women transitioning back into regular jobs and the PTSD.
Yes, ma'am.
And all the memories that you have to deal with.
Yes, ma'am.
So has this job helped you in that capacity?
It has tremendously. It taught me patience, and when dealing with people in addiction, you have to have patience.
Yes.
Because you can't be quick to judge, quick to, accuse or any of that. You have to listen, because there are people that want help, and you have to be that person. You have to be the adult in the room.
Yes.
And sit down and just listen and take their words and understand what they're telling you. And so it has taught me a lot of patience.
Well, and another thing is families tend to, either they outcast the one with the problems, they completely cut them off because they have done A, B, and C to me, and I'm not having them back in my house, and I've heard all the stories myself, you know, from different ones, and you understand where they're coming from, because when a certain individual comes into their home and they're stealing so that they can get drugs, and then every time they come, that's what they come for. You have to put your foot down, and you have to have that strong love and say, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. Then you've got, on the other side of the coin, you've got family members who enable, the ones. And so I can just imagine in your position having to deal with both sides of the coin of the family members who are having, you know, you got the enablers and you got the ones that they ain't coming back to my house. I ain't gonna do nothing else with them anymore. So now, do you deal with the family members with this?
Yes, we deal with family members, and I've learned that family members, a lot of them just do what they think is the best thing. And, you know, I've heard family members say, well, I give them money, I give my son or daughter money because if I give the money, then they're not out stealing.
Yes.
And that's what they think is the best thing for them to do. So I really don't, there's no anger towards them.
Right.
Because they're just trying to do what's best for their child.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's what with you having your children and your grandchildren, you know, we all do that in whatever situation comes up because we love them and we love them unconditionally. And even though the mistakes, hey, we've all made in life.
Oh yes.
And as I know, you know, by the grace of God, any of us can be in that situation.
Oh yes, ma'am. I tell my clients all the time that where you made a right, I made a left. Where you made a left, I made a right. We could just, you know, the roads can be reversed at the drop of a dime.
And that's exactly right, because, you know, people are quick to judge. And they say, why can't they just lay it down and not do it ever again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, they've never been there.
Well, I put it to them like this. Mainly the people who say that either smoke cigarettes, drink coffee.
Exactly.
All right, go a day without your coffee.
Exactly.
And multiply that by 1,000. And then you know what's going on. If you're having a bad day because you didn't get a cup of coffee, or you haven't smoked your cigarette yet,
exactly.
Imagine what drugs, what you know, these drugs are doing to our people. So.
Well, I mean, I have through family, I have also learned the addictions and what it can do, and a lot of friends. So I've been on that side where I have seen how they are, and because I grew up in the 70s. Okay, I'm a child of the 70s. You know, I went through all that, people. Okay, you know, that was my daddy. We were going up to Powder Springs Saturday. And we saw all these homeless people, you know, up under the bridges as we were going along. And Daddy said, yeah, I can remember when the hippies were doing that. And we just laughed and laughed because, you know, that was the generation I grew up in. I was a teenager during that time. And I lost a lot of friends that were doing drugs. Of the, you know, the overdosing, having car wrecks, hallucinating and taking their own lives because they thought, you know, a monster was after them, you know, those kind of things. So I grew up in that generation where, you know, it was the rock and roll, sex, drugs, rock and roll, you know, it was during that era. And I know it hasn't changed. I'm not naive. I know when my children were coming up that it hadn't changed. But the thing is, a lot of the drugs now are so much worse than they were back then.
But they're cheaper and easier to make, easier to get a hold of. You know, I tell them when I first started working there, I asked one of the guys, and he said he was shooting up, and I said, well, what was in the syringe? He said, I don't know.
Right.
Well, you might as well put some Drano in there.
Exactly.
You know, at least you can read off the bottom to say, okay, I know this is in there. You know, and it's dangerous. You know,
It's
the drugs
very
that they're
dangerous.
sending out now that's being made and people are using, it's horrible. It's really horrible. Right
Oh,
now.
it just, you know, it breaks my heart. And then you see these beautiful people, especially on meth, and you see these beautiful people, and after they have been on it for so long, and they look horrible, and your heart just, it just goes out to them because, you know, you think, don't you see what you're doing? But they don't.
Well, they see it, but that part of their brain
Exactly.
tells them that they need this. You know, and a lot of them, you know, they cry for help.
Oh, yes.
But the addiction is just so strong that without patience, without a positive support system, you know, people loving them, that's what keeps them out there a lot of times. You know, it's just that all their friends, well, not their real friends, but
Exactly.
you know, and you know, family had turned backs on them, turned their backs on them, and they don't have no support.
Right. We were talking earlier, before the camera started rolling, about all the different organizations that we have been so fortunate to have here in Wayne County. Pineland's one, Face to Face Recovery. We've got Shane's Crib. We have got, the gentleman, the halfway house.
Free Heart.
Thank you.
Yes.
I knew it. I've had those gentlemen to come and help us do so much, and but we have so many organizations that are trying so hard to help people that you're counseling. So how do they come to you? How do they find you?
Well, we're Pineland, Wayne SA, substance abuse outpatient, but we also facilitate the Wayne County Drug Court. So a lot of our individuals are drug court members.
Okay.
Besides the drug court individuals, probation, defects, or people who just wanting to quit, you know,
Okay.
wanting help. That's how we get a lot of our individuals.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, say for instance, one of our viewers is watching and they want to get in touch with you. How can they do that?
Well, they can call Access, which is 1-800-Pineland,
Okay.
and if, say, they're living in Toombs County,
Yes.
and what Access will do is link them up with the closest Pineland facility.
Okay.
So they can 1-800-Pineland. They can also I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Look at our website. Our information is on the website, or they can call our office, which is 912-427-8273.
All right. Well, you know, that helps because you never know. There could be a situation where someone is out there watching or their family's watching.
Yes, ma'am.
And they want to get help for their loved one. And so I always like to make sure that everybody knows how to get in touch with the right people. And you know, that is just so prevalent right now because well, for instance, do you deal with any of alcohol, or is yours just strictly drugs?
It's alcohol and drugs.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And you know, we deal with some co-occurring, which is mental health and substance abuse. We deal with mild mental health. Mental health and substance abuse usually go hand in
Yes,
hand.
it does. It
Either a
does.
person has mental health issues and they're trying to cope by using substances, or they're using substances and because of their mental health.
Yes.
So it's usually hand in hand. Oh, I'm
Right.
sorry, the mental health comes after the substance.
Yes, yes.
But it's usually hand in hand in many instances. So what if we cannot provide mental health services for them, we do have our Wayne Counseling Center, which is our mental
Right.
health center here at
Yes,
Jesup
yes.
as well.
And they have been so helpful throughout the years. I mean, I have known so many individuals that have gone there and have found help. You can tell health right now. Oh Lordy, but my viewers know me. I'm all the time messing up. Anyway,
Well,
but
I'm right with
I'm all the time getting words confused. But you know, to me, our area is so fortunate,
Yes.
and I'm just so thankful that we do have the people here to help the ones who need it. And remember also, if I'm not mistaken, they have been trying to cut some budgets with some of this.
Yes, ma'am. We should be finding out within the next couple of weeks
Okay.
how we're affected. There has been a budget cut to BHDD and also our drug court program.
Right.
So within the next couple of weeks, we're going to see how.
Now, is there anything we as voters, as community people, is there anything we can do to help?
Well, I always say that just pay attention to who you're voting for.
Right.
And their history. You know, for some reason, and it's been like this forever.
Oh, yes.
As soon as, you know, the government wants to make a cut, the first thing they attack is community-based programs.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we need someone that's going to stand up for the community.
Yes.
You know, mental health and substance abuse are a big issue, you know, right now.
Yes.
And to cut it, I'm not understanding how is that helping, you know, their constituents. You know, it's not helping our communities. And so I always say, just pay attention to, you know, who you vote for, and if it happens once, more than likely it's going to happen again.
Yes.
And so
Unfortunately.
when that person goes back in office, more than likely they're gonna if the opportunity arises, it's gonna happen again.
Hey people, I tell you, he's right. Watch it, because you know this is time when we vote. Also, don't forget to do your census.
Yes, yes.
Please don't forget. It does not take but just a few minutes of your time to fill out that census. And so many people are so scared that I don't want the government to know what is in my household. Well, you know what? Most of the time they already know. Because we have paid taxes, all right? They know how much taxes you pay on, and 9 times out of 10, you've got dependents and all that on there. So it's not any different. And the thing is, when you do the census, it brings the money to
Back to
our
the communities.
community.
Exactly.
And I mean, I get on my soapbox about
The
that.
census is not just for the individual, it's about the community.
It is about the
Yeah.
community.
And that's where, you know, we can't complain. If we don't do our census and we don't vote,
Oh.
then we have no right to complain about what we're not getting.
Exactly.
So,
You hit the nail on the head with that one. Cause yeah. Oh, did I say that right?
yeah, no, hit nail on the head. Yeah.
I told you. After I said it, I'm like, wait a minute, did I say that right? But anyway, I told you I'm crazy. But I'll have a certificate soon. They just hadn't sent it to me yet.
Oh.
But anyway, it is so important. So important, people. Do the census and vote, please. They came to the high school when I was a senior, and I signed up to vote then, and that was in 1975. People, okay, you probably weren't even born
I was
then.
2 years old.
Oh my gosh.
2 years old.
He's making me feel so old, people. But anyway, it was 1975, and I have been voting ever since. Now, every once in a blue moon, like these smaller things, like if there's only like one thing on the ballot or so, I have forgotten to go vote. Okay, I'll be honest with you. But 9 times out of 10, those people up there the precinct, they know I'm gonna be coming through. They can always count on me, unless, now this year, my husband and I did do the absentee ballot for the first time ever, because of the coronavirus. And, we didn't know what was going to happen when it came time to vote. So we said, okay, we might as well go ahead and do do it that way. And we did. And hey, that was easy. I have voted, early voting. They make it so easy.
Yeah, it's easy.
Oh, it's so easy, just like the census. But we have got to do this for our community, for our people. And
y'all have it's a lot of programs.
oh
here
my
in
goodness,
Jesup.
it affects it.
Yeah, the Wayne County Substance Abuse Coalition. Until I started coordinating with them, I did not know how many programs y'all had.
That's right.
And y'all have a lot of programs that actually want to help the community.
Yes.
And for the person that's out there that doesn't know what, or how to help, talk to people about the census.
Yes.
Fill out your census. That's the way you can help.
Yes, definitely. Well, one of the things, and I've got to throw in a plug to the Art Center, but before the coronavirus hit and we had to, do the social distancing and all that kind of stuff, we had, and it really didn't have a name. It was just Monday morning open studio. And there was one of our members, she's a lady, and she said, hey, can I do this? Can I just, start a group? We said, yes, Nancy, please. Well, it grew, it has grown and grown. And then Face-to-Face Recovery, one of the members, one of the people that works there is also a member here.
Okay.
And Faye Posley, do you know Faye?
I know
Yeah.
Miss Faye,
So
yes,
Faye,
yes.
She called me up and she said, Vicki, what about a group of our ladies coming? I said, yes, Faye. I said, talk to Nancy, make sure she can handle it, because I don't know how many she has. I'm at work, so I don't know how many she has there. So, see, we were offering, it just hits everywhere. So we were offering our services to the ladies from Face to Face to come, and they could do art to kind of express their feelings.
Wow.
So, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It all
that's-
just interconnects.
Yes, ma'am.
And everything in the community, you don't think it does, that it touches, but it does.
And it's just the smallest gesture.
Yes.
That can mean the most.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes. And a lot of times just something like that simple thing can change somebody's life.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
If they learn to draw a circle and then make it into a flower and then make a landscape, after a while they're expressing their innermost, and sometimes our demons come out, in what we do.
Oh,
but
yes.
hey, you're getting them out and they're not in any longer.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
there are so many things in the community that voting and the census helps with, because we need it all.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to bring out?
No, just want to say thank you, and we at Pineland, we have a team of dedicated people
Yes,
that
yes, you
wants to help the community, and we service 8 counties. Substance abuse, mental health, developmental disabilities. We have a lot of good people
Yes.
that are, I always say, God put people in places for a reason.
Yes.
And you're not in this job if you don't love the people.
Oh, no.
Love it. Love to help people.
Because even with what you do and listening to people, it's stressful.
Oh yes.
I don't care what anybody says. It's stressful.
Yes.
And then you have to learn to de-stress, to get those coping mechanisms within your life to be able to go home and not take it home.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's where 84.
Uh-huh.
I've learned to appreciate Highway
Yes.
84.
Yes, because that gives you time to de-stress.
Yes.
I've heard a lot of people talk about that commute, and they say, it gives me time when I leave my job that every mile, I'm getting further and further away from the
Yes,
job,
yes.
and that's how much further I'm leaving
Yeah.
it behind me.
Exactly. Exactly. That's an excellent way to put it.
Yeah, but then there's sometimes, you go, oh my gosh, I'm not home yet. Hey, I only live a few minutes, and so it's, away from from work, from any area I'm in. So, again, I appreciate you so much coming.
Thank you.
And because of the social distancing, I'm a touchy person, and honey, I always want to hug and shake hands. And my patients at where I work, they know that if I'm talking to them, I gotta, and this is killing me. This is killing me because I can't touch people like and I can't hug and, because I've got several of my patients that come and they said, Vicki, I gotta get my hug before I leave, and I can't hug them. It's killing me. But this will be over one day.
One day.
We were laughing. I gotta throw this in too, people. I mean, we gotta laugh about things, okay? If we don't, it'll be really bad. But we were talking about the Sahara Desert dust that's coming across, and how Saturday it really got to me.
Yeah.
It was in my throat. I was constantly, just I could feel it scratchy. I could feel my eyes scratchy. And somebody said, well, what else is going to happen in 2020? I said, well, we haven't had locusts yet.
I started a garden this year, don't I?
Oh my gosh, but they're not going to happen. No. We're not having locusts, okay? I'm not bringing that to us. But
I can see it now on Facebook Live. On Facebook.
Oh my God, Miss Vicki has predicted locusts. Oh my goodness. But thank you again, and we appreciate this, and I will be letting our audience know when this will be airing, and I'll let y'all know too.
Okay, thanks.
So that you can, and I'll be putting it on YouTube later too, because we always, after I show it on the air, then after I've shown it on the air a few times, then if it's okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I always have to get permission, but we always like our specials. We tried to put them on YouTube so that people who aren't able to see, our channels, because everybody doesn't have Comcast. They've got Dish or they've got whatever, and so we try to hit everybody we can so that they can get the word out
Yes,
for
ma'am.
these special things. Well, thank you again for